When I was in college studying cognitive science, which is what I majored in my psychology class, we were taught something called the selective attention test. Now, you might have heard of this already, and you might have seen this very famous video which shows the effects of the selective attention test best. In this video, you are supposed to count how many times the players in white pass their basketball. For the majority of the people who watch this, because they are told to count how many passes the people in the white make, they don't even see the fact that a gorilla walks through the middle and walks out of the frame. I think this test really demonstrates how much of human attention is like a spotlight, where we filter out everything else, or almost everything else in our environment, to put our focus on what we choose to put our attention on. And yet, even with this information, humans are starting to become more and more of chronic multitaskers. And that got me thinking that this must be affecting our brains in some sort of negative way. Now, I personally am an avid multitasker. When I'm in the middle of working, when I'm on the toilet, when I'm eating, even when I'm filling up my water in the fridge, I will habitually pull out my phone because I can't stand the boredom of watching water pour into my flask for 20 seconds.
I can't stop myself.
I want to have more singular focus on any task, and I want to take my power and control back over my phone. And not just my phone, but I want to see how not multitasking will affect every area of my life. So I decided to devise this experiment where I stop multitasking everything for 7 days. And this is going to span past not allowing myself to multitask anything with my phone. I'm not even going to allow myself to multitask things that are considered productive, like let's say going on the toilet and reading a book while you're doing that. So I really am only allowing myself to do one thing at once. So let's start off this week. Let's see how it goes. I'm excited to get into this and see what happens. Good morning. It is the first day of this whole not multitasking challenge. I just finished up my breakfast here. I had some pancakes, and already there's a couple things I'm noticing. Firstly, when I got down here, just to show you how unintentional I am with doing things when I'm multitasking down here, I put the hummus in the cupboard instead of the refrigerator last night. This guy right here, he rarely thinks when he does stuff. So like I said, when I'm cooking, I'm usually using my phone and alternating between cooking and using my phone, but since I didn't do that, I actually had time to do all the dishes from the past 2 days. Now, I don't think I would have done that had I not had my phone. A lot of us use our phones the entire time while we're eating to watch something or to like scroll through Twitter or Instagram, and I have not picked up my phone yet today. And it allowed me to practice something that I preach a lot to other people online, which is mindful eating. It's very important for your digestion and to really taste your food to put your full attention on eating. And because I did this, honestly, the pancakes just tasted better, and I'm feeling a lot more mental clarity this morning from not consuming a bunch of information like I usually have by this time. So I'm in the process of editing a client's video right now. Where do I put this thing? That's good. I'm in the process of editing a client's video right now, and I got my phone next to me, which I usually check every like 5 minutes or so while I'm doing my work, but I have not checked it yet since I've sat down to do this session. Putting it right next to me because I want to give myself a little tease, just be like, hey, you could do it, but you need that mental discipline and you are not multitasking for the next week. And of course, this is what I expected. I'm getting more work done more efficiently. Also allows me to not break flow state as much. You guys have heard me talk about flow state, which is when you're just like dialed into your work and super creative, and I don't want to ever break that when I'm doing my work, so it's nice to have this restriction on myself for working at least. Okay, but I really need to get back to this because as I'm talking to the camera while working, that's technically multitasking. I gotta go. Alright, it's the end of day one, and that was definitely an above average day. There's certain days that happen very rarely that I just feel totally optimal. I'm calm, I'm clear-headed, I have a lot of energy, and I don't stress over doing a lot of work. And today was one of those days. Now, it might have been that I got good sleep, it might have been that I had a good workout today, but it also could have been that I've been doing less stuff with my phone and less multitasking. Really excited to see if this optimal feeling continues throughout this entire week, but yeah, I guess we will see. Alright, I have to admit that eating while not having any form of entertainment is starting to feel a bit like torture. As I was making this food over there, I was just thinking how badly I wanted to watch a YouTube video while eating this big plate of food, and that's just made me realize how much dopamine I'm really getting from eating so much and then also watching something at the same time. It's so pleasureful. And today I worked out, and again, I have a lot of mental clarity today. I just feel good. I have a lot of energy. So this whole not multitasking thing, producing more energy, could be true. The theory could be true. And then 3 days into the challenge, the benefits from using my phone less started to produce an opposite effect. All right, what's good? It's day 3 now. Forgot to show you guys how much I used my phone yesterday. 2 hours and 25 minutes. That's a little bit more than day 1. I think I'm starting to feel the effects of not using my phone less. And this wasn't supposed to be a challenge about using my phone less, but it kind of is turning into that. I'm not getting the same pleasure that I usually do from using my phone 4 or 5 hours a day. And without it, the whole day yesterday felt just like pure work, and I felt kind of drained. So this morning I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna use my phone for a little bit this morning. I don't have to record a video today. All I gotta do is edit a video today for a client. I really never ever do this. And so I did it. And so using my phone less hasn't really benefited my mental state yet, but maybe it's like how I'm coming off of an addiction, like how people come off of addictions. They don't feel very good at first, and maybe by the end of the week, I'll feel better about using my phone less. I hope so. But yeah, I got some work to do on the computer now. I gotta edit this. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. So now that I'm a little more than halfway through this challenge, I realized that I kind of just jumped into this without doing any prior research. I just had the feeling, the hunch, that multitasking was not good for me, it wasn't good for my well-being, and it wasn't good for my mental clarity. So I checked out if there was any research done on this type of thing, and what I found on the internet is honestly really scary. First thing that I found was really fascinating was by this guy, Dr. Clifford Nass. He was a professor of communication at Stanford, and in the experiments that he conducted, he found that not only were chronic multitaskers worse at multitasking than people who did it less frequently, which to me is just mind-blowing in itself, but also that multitasking cognitively impairs us even when we are doing things and not multitasking while doing those things. We studied people who were chronic multitaskers, and even when we did not ask them to do anything close to the level of multitasking they were doing, their cognitive processes were impaired. So basically, they are worse at most of the kinds of thinking not only required for multitasking, but what we generally think of as involving deep thought. This is scary, and it makes sense. I don't think humans are made to multitask as much as we do now, and I do think that it's easier these days with having a phone and having something that's so high in entertainment for us to access at all times. And then another study I found that people who frequently multitask during their day while they're working feel like they were less productive throughout the day, and that obviously is going to affect your well-being too. And now that I think about it, maybe subconsciously I have felt that on days that I multitask or use my phone more than usual. And I most definitely feel I have felt today less cognitively impaired. Yesterday was definitely a little tough, and like I said, I was starting to feel kind of like I was torturing myself, but I feel really good today. Let's keep it going. I want to talk about how I feel at the end of this week. These past few days, I experienced a lot more mental clarity and focus on my work and felt like I was more productive than I usually do, and that really goes to show how multitasking can affect the other areas of your life even when you're not multitasking something. Now, even after a week, I feel like I'm much more in control over when I actively choose to use my phone and not. I feel like after this challenge even ends, I won't use my phone when I'm filling up my water, and sometimes when I'm not cooking or eating. I hope I don't go back to that, because when I was cooking and eating, it really did allow my mind to wander a lot more. It allowed me to hash out things that I had been thinking about, problems that needed solutions, and this confirms all of my previous hunches that being lazy sometimes, being completely and utterly bored, which no humans are actually bored anymore. When we are bored, we can just pick up our phone and use it and be stimulated in some way. Doing that is so invaluable to your mental health. I really hope there's more experiments and studies done on multitasking and how that's really affecting us, because it's something that we overlook a lot in our daily lives, and yet we're doing it so much more than we ever have in the past. I'm happy that I have power again, and I'm very surprised at all the other benefits that I experienced from this. Thank you to all my patrons on this channel. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a platform where I'm putting out exclusive content that can't be found anywhere else, and I'm also giving one-on-one advice on there. If you want to check out that platform, you can go to patreon.com/𝙬𝙬𝙬. The link is also in the description. Now that's going to be it for this video. What a test this was to my mentality and my discipline, and it definitely helped with all that, and I'm happy that I did it, and I'm excited to see what you guys think of this challenge, and if you're gonna take it on. In the comments below, let me know, and leave a like if you did enjoy the video. And I'm headed out. Let's keep not multitasking. Hopefully I can keep this up.